What's up? Alright, we're going to talk about government. We love government, don't we, on this channel? Government is our best friend. Government, makes us less free, and that's the goal of the lifetime, is to be less free and be controlled by papers, pieces of paper. So, for people that don't know, some of you guys do. There's a few of you guys I talk to on a regular basis. I got a new job. I started July 1st, so it's going on week number 4. That I've been at this job, and it's fucking crazy. Like, the pay is crazy, and the hours are good. Like, I get there at 6:15 and I leave at 4 o'clock. So I'm home. If I go from there straight home, I'm home by I'm home usually by 4:45. And then other days I just go to Taekwondo and teach Taekwondo, and I'm home by 8 o'clock. It's fucking awesome. It's great. Things happen for a reason. I was basically fired from another job because of nothing. Because of no reason. Because someone got their feelings hurt, and the owner didn't have the pair of balls to tell them, well, this is life. You're going to get your feelings hurt. Shut the fuck up. No, I was the problem. I was racist. I had a gun on my hip. I'm white. Obviously, put all that together. Homophobic in there too, Flip all that shit around, and somehow I'm the bad person and I didn't do nothing wrong. So whatever. So I got a job at a factory, and I make a lot of money. And my first paycheck was triple my last paycheck. So I went to the pawn shop today, and I bought a few little freedom weapons, because why not? I bought a 16 gauge. Never owned a 16 gauge. Never saw a 16 gauge until today. Also, it was my first semi-automatic shotgun. Very happy with that. So I have around none of your business how many guns I have. Anyway, the point of it is, this piece of paper has been there for about a week at the pawn shop. I went to the pawn shop last Friday and looked around, and I did end up buying a single shot for $100. 12 gauge, I don't know the brand of it, I forget. Champion brand. But that paper was there, and I didn't think anything about it. And then today, when I was waiting for my awesome background check, because that's federal law, and my CWP does not match my new driver license, because we are moving into that house right there as soon as they get the septic next week and the certifications and all that bullshit done. We will hopefully move in within 2 weeks. I read the paper, and it is a joke. So this is South Carolina Law Enforcement, or SLED. SLED does a lot of things, but their main job is to try to pull out their 2-inch dick and say that they are 12 inches, and they are not. They are basically the wannabe ATF of the state. Anything to do with concealed weapons, they have jurisdiction. For example, when open carry became law in the state, there was a waiting period before it became official law of 90 days for SLED to create regulations and rules for cops and also gun instructors regarding the open carry portion of CWP courses. And then about a year later, not even a year later, we went Constitution carry in the state. So we don't even have to have a CWP. The only pro with having a CWP, other than being in the database and being controlled by the government for the rest of your life and them knowing everything about you, and I did not know that until I woke up one day, is that you don't have to do the background check, because it does it every day. You're in the fucking system, and if you piss red one day, they will come to your house and take your fucking license away. That's their job, to enforce bullshit, because you are a slave to them. Now, they have this thing, and it's every FFL has it. I've seen it at the pawn shop, and I've seen it at the gun store I went to today to get ammunition for the guns I bought, because I didn't have 16 gauge bullets, and they only had 2 boxes left, and I was happy to buy those. And the shotgun shot very, very well, and my other guns shot very well too. Required notification to gun purchasers in South Carolina. Now, I am dyslexic, and I do not read the best, so bear with me, especially this law bullshit, because this is code, South Carolina Code AN S16-23-495D. This is South Carolina law. That's the South Carolina code for you. And it's ANN.S, whatever the fuck that code means. Alright, let's go over South Carolina code. If a gun owner commits a crime involving a concealed weapon, then the owner, and the owner does not have a valid concealed weapon permit, then there may be additional criminal penalties for the underlying offense. So what does that mean? Well, it means nothing, really. Because if I'm following the law in South Carolina, where you don't have to have a concealed weapon, and I shoot my ex-wife, for example, that'd be a perfect example, what am I guilty of? I'm guilty of murder, not carrying the gun properly. Why would I get a gun charge? But the government has been doing this. So they released this to basically say, even though we don't mandate a CWP, we want everyone to have a CWP. So they're trying to force FFLs to force this, because down here it says free SLED CWP courses, South Carolina safe training course. Scan the URL to get more information. Present to South Carolina Constitution Carry Second Amendment Preservation Act of 2024, you are not required to attain a CWP to lawfully carry openly or concealed in South Carolina. South Carolina provides a free SLED concealed weapons permit in every county at least twice a month. Please go to this website to find. Although attaining the CWP is not required if you're charged with a crime involving a gun. Listen to that again. If you are charged with a crime involving a gun and do not possess a CWP, it could result in additional penalties. Why? But they changed it right there because it doesn't say anything about concealed carry. It says gun. So now we're getting hairy here, because you already committed a crime. The gun's not at fault. They're just trying to stack. You remember Kyle Rittenhouse? He was being charged with what? He's being charged with attempted murder and murder, right? Even though it was clearly self-defense. But they also charged him with a rifle charge and tried to say that it was a FFA item, or not FFA, it was a FLA item. It was ATF item that you had to have a tax stamp, you had to have approval to have that item, and he was not allowed to have that. And they lied through their fucking teeth, but they added a gun charge to make something stick. Because hey, if the murder charge don't add up, even though we know it's self-defense, maybe this bullshit ticket charge will add up. NFA. There, I might have said a couple other words. You get the point. So here's the South Carolina Code 16-23-49-5, okay? A person convicted of committing or attempting to commit a crime involving a concealed weapon defined under Section 23-31-2010. Violation of Offensive Chapter 23. Title 16. Oh my God, so many codes. Like, we're supposed to know what this means. You can get imprisonment up to 3 years for these crimes. This section above does not apply to people that have a valid concealed license. So if a person has a valid concealed license and goes and shoots his ex-wife, he's only going to be charged with murder. But if a person has no valid concealed weapon permit, but the South Carolina law does not make you have that, and conceals his .45 and goes shoots his ex-wife, he is now going to be charged with murder and also concealing illegally, even though it's Constitution carry state. You see, this is why I don't agree with Constitution carry. Not in the sense of I want more government control, in the sense of you fuckers think it's actually freedom. This proves the point. I've proved the point multiple times throughout the years. Read the fucking bills. If it doesn't say fuck the government on it, and that's all it says, if it doesn't say Constitution carry, fuck the government, read the Constitution, signed by Zane Nelson, if that's not the law, then it's control. It's not freedom. People think it's freedom, but it's not. And this proves the point. It's 2024, so it's almost 2 years later, and they are putting this at every FFL. Why is that? Because they want control. It's a free CWP class. You bring your own ammo, you bring your own gun. It's free, but they put you in the system. It's all about control. That's all it is. And somehow people don't understand that. And one thing that drives me crazy, not only do people not understand it, people are oblivious to what you're trying to teach them. And I'm the first person to teach anyone. I listen to people when they talk, and then I said, no. Because I was waiting for my background check to happen, right? And a guy was reading this at the pawn shop, and he's like, oh, you have to do this and have a CWP to buy a gun. I'm like, no. That's not what it says, dude. I said, don't even worry about that. It's not even pertaining to you. You're pawning out your Xbox. No. People are oblivious to so many things. I went to a restaurant the other night with my family, and there were some old people, and I know they seen my gun because I was holding my daughter, and she squirms around trying to get down and run around the restaurant, and I wasn't letting her. I know they seen my gun, and I know they was saying something. They was talking. Old thing, there was a couple, probably like 3 or 4 older people together. People don't understand the law. People don't understand not only the law, but how do you say it? The rights that we really do have and what we're allowed to do and allowed not to do, regardless of paper. If I want to put a third hole in my AR, I have the ability to do it. Now, the ATF would come here and say, Zane, you're a fucking terrorist, how dare you? And I would say, well, the gun's in pieces because I don't know how to fucking do that. I'm not that smart. I don't know anything about that. But why am I not allowed to do that? I'm allowed to go cut my dick off and become a woman if I wanted to, but I'm not allowed to put a third hole in my fucking ARs because that would be a felony. It's retarded. It's fucking stupid. This paper right here proves that we are slaves, and it's going to go right in the burn barrel right there. You guys really need to read laws. You really need to see what's going on, because Republicans are saying, we're passing this for more freedom. Less taxes. No, they ain't. The governor of South Carolina has said that recently. That they're passing laws to lower taxes. But it's a 6 to 7 year plan, almost a 10-year plan to get the taxes. Do it now. Don't wait 7 or 10 years. Do it fucking now if you really want to do it. You don't want to do it, though. Bunch of bullshit. We are free human beings. We have the right to own what we want to own. And no matter how many guns you have, the gun's not the problem. I'm not the one going doing drive-bys and shit. I live out here with the crickets and the cats playing. That's what I live by. Anything else I said would be racist if I kept on going with that. But you get the point I'm saying. We have about 400 million guns in America. About 50,000 gun deaths. 80% of them are suicides. About 93% of the rest are gang and black on black crime. And then the majority of the rest are self-defense, a few accidents, and you can go down the list, and it's a very, very, very small portion of people that actually get killed by guns. More people are truly killed by hammers in America. And even if you use that 50 to 60,000 deaths per year with all guns, about 350 to 400,000 people die every year from a doctor fucking up in surgery or a doctor fucking up with a prescription. But we still go to doctors. You get the flu or something, you get hurt, you still go to the doctor. We're not limiting that shit. We're making that free for everyone, increasing my fucking taxes. I would have $600 more on my paycheck if taxes wasn't taken out yet last night. You guys have a great one. Sorry for the long video.